Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following. Indiana University's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, presenting Security Matters, with tips for improving online security in 3 minutes or less.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. The governor's new drug task force is charged with traveling the state, talking to Hoosiers, and coming up with a comprehensive plan to combat Indiana's growing drug problem.
We simply cannot arrest our way out of this problem.
Ahead, a closer look at the task force and what options are on the table. Plus, the governor praised Connersville as a success story. The community is turning around after a heroin epidemic, and Pence says state and local collaboration was the key. The Hoosiers kick off their football season this weekend, but will the excitement be overshadowed by a string of legal troubles from student athletes? Plus, the new and improved Hoosier State Line is up and running between Indianapolis and Chicago.
From Indianapolis to Chicago and back for $52, I think. That's dirt cheap.
We board the line to see if the train actually delivers on its promise to provide more amenities and better service. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Governor Mike Pence says he's assembled the best minds to gather information and come up with a fresh approach to tackling the state's drug abuse problem. This week, Pence announced the creation of the Governor's Drug Abuse Task Force. The 21-member group is touring the state to meet with local leaders and get a sense of what's happening in communities that's leading to the drug epidemic. From 2003 to 2013, the number of heroin overdose deaths in Indiana increased nearly 5,000%, and the Hoosier State ranks 16th highest in the country for all drug overdoses. Pence says the Drug Task Force will identify gaps in enforcement, treatment, and prevention, and develop solutions for the state. And as Brandon Smith reports, Pence is giving them a tight deadline. He wants recommendations from the task force as early as this fall.
The task force is comprised of law enforcement officials, physicians, a bipartisan group of lawmakers, and major agency heads. And Pence says the focus can't simply be on punishing drug users.
It is axiomatic to say that while it begins with law enforcement, we simply cannot arrest our way out of this problem.
Pence is charging the task force with developing a comprehensive plan to break the drug abuse cycle. Democrats accuse Pence of being late to the game and say a comprehensive strategy is something they've been advocating for more than a year. In Scott County, an HIV outbreak has reached more than 180 cases. Nearly all of those have been linked to prescription drug abuse. Local officials say for years prior to the outbreak, they pleaded with the state for help addressing the drug problem.
Ever since I opened my practice in 2004, it was obvious that there was a problem with drug use here. Been asking for help for a long time.
Well, thank you all for being here, and this will be the first meeting of the Task Force on Drug Enforcement, Treatment, and Prevention.
The creation of the Drug Task Force comes 7 months after the governor declared a public health emergency in Scott County, allowed the county to establish a needle exchange program, and allocated state funding and additional resources to address the HIV epidemic.
One thing that's important about syringe exchange programs is that it's not just about giving out needles. It's about mounting a comprehensive response. In Scott County, we provide connection to addiction and recovery services. We provide HIV testing. We connect them with the Department of Workforce so that they can get jobs.
State Health Commissioner Jerome Adams is one of the members of the task force. He says as the group works on developing a statewide drug prevention strategy, a syringe exchange could be on the table. Pence, for his part, says he won't prejudge any recommendations.
This is how Hoosiers like us to operate. Let's come in, let's have an open mind, let's figure out how to work the problem in new and renewed ways, and with the end result that our families are safer, and our law enforcement community, our social services community, have the resources and the tools to be able to do their job with greater effectiveness.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brandon Smith.
At this week's announcement, Pence referenced the community of Connersville on more than one occasion. He used it as a good example of state and local agencies working together. It's been months since state and local leaders formed a multi-agency collaboration to fight back against the growing drug problem. And while there are signs things are getting better, many folks who live in Connersville say they're not sure the epidemic is under control or that the governor's new task force will help other communities facing the same issues with drug abuse. Sarah Whitmire has that part of the story.
If David Counselor looks defeated, it's because it's been a rough year.
Usually I'm an optimistic person, but I don't foresee things to get any better.
Counselor is the police chief. His job brings him face to face with the town's drug problem every day. But he says you won't find anyone in Connersville who doesn't know someone addicted to drugs.
I tell you, it wears on society, everybody. And we have family and friends out here on this stuff, and you know, it's just like what you got to do to wake these people up.
The problem isn't new, but it got really bad last fall. In a period of just 2 months, more than 36 people overdosed on heroin. Drug abuse was literally killing the community.
They got the eye of the governor, so the state police superintendent, Doug Carter, got with me and asked what we could do. So long story short, we put this task force together involving 7 agencies really, with the state and local government.
The task force is focused on getting the drug dealers off the streets. About 200 people have been arrested. If stopping the sellers is step 1, stopping the buyers is step 2. Fayette County Commission President Franklin Jackson says now that the law enforcement side is being addressed, the task force is shifting its focus and putting a lot of energy into community outreach, education, and helping people get off drugs.
As long as you have supply and demand, the law enforcement side of it addresses the supply part, but the education, the information, the buildup of self-esteem among individuals who have none and are more susceptible to drug use. I think that's the part that's like the needle exchange program and all its components. I think that's what that addresses.
The state health commissioner just granted Fayette County the authority to start a needle exchange program, but it faces some challenges. The most pressing issue right now, besides finding a location for the exchange, is getting the community on board.
Well, there's paraphernalia laws, and so some laws are going to have to be overlooked or repealed or something to do this. And like I said, it's like giving your daughter birth control pills. You know, well, is that condoning her to do that, or you're just protecting her well-being? So it's a double-edged sword with this. Is something similar.
They don't realize that it is a disease, that they are sick, and they need the compassion that they don't get. And I hear quite often just, well, why don't you just give them the heroin too? You're giving them the needles and everything else they need. Might as well. We're contributing to the problem and not trying to help alleviate it.
The exchanges have long been controversial, but the state amended its policy to allow them in emergency situations following the HIV outbreak in Scott County. Since the exchange started there, dozens of people have been referred to drug treatment programs.
Obviously, we don't know yet how effective we're going to be. We're going into this with the hope that we can help 100% of the people.
The state is continuing its involvement. Staff from the state health department are providing resources and making themselves available to help with the launch of the exchange program. But they're not providing any money. State funds can't be used for syringes, but they can help with some other services. Police Chief Counselor is grateful to have some dealers off the streets, but he's doubtful, even with help from the state, things are going to get any better in his community.
It's hard to protect people from themselves. And some people, when they get their mind made up, they're going to get off of it. Great, that's super. But others are not strong enough to do that. And so they stay on it until they die. That's basically it.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sarah Whitmire.
And now for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brozier, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. Relief could be coming for Hoosiers who have suffered damage caused by flooding and storms in June. Governor Mike Pence is asking the Federal Emergency Management Agency to provide Indiana grants to help pay for some of the damage. If FEMA approves the request, the money would go to local governments and nonprofits in 19 counties. But the state can request funding for additional counties later. The money would pay for up to 75% of the repairs to roads, bridges, and parks, as well as for debris removal. The state previously received funding to help with crop damage caused by flooding. A fund dedicated to state and federal conservation efforts is set to expire at the end of the month. The Land and Water Conservation Fund was established in 1965 with funding from offshore oil receipts. Since then, Indiana has received $75 million from the fund, which has been used to acquire land for public recreation. A bipartisan bill in Congress would reauthorize the program before it expires at the end of September, but that legislation hasn't yet cleared the Senate or the House. 7 communities across Indiana are competing for $84 million in state grants that have been set aside to increase economic development in mid-sized cities. The proposals submitted this week include a wide range of projects, from transforming the Wabash Riverfront in Terre Haute to a tourist destination with restaurants and hotels, to creating a new rapid transit bus service in Indianapolis. A state panel will assess the return on investment of each of the proposals and select 2 that will receive the state funds in December. A Vigo County man accused of knowingly infecting women with HIV is facing additional charges. The Vigo County Prosecutor's Office filed 6 additional charges against Isaiah Benford for having sexual relations with women and failing to disclose he has HIV. Indiana law requires a person with AIDS, HIV, or hepatitis B engaging in high-risk activity, such as sex, to warn other people about the potential risk to their health. Benford now faces a total of 22 charges. He pleaded not guilty in June to 16 similar charges filed earlier this year. The former director of the Jared Fogle Foundation pleaded guilty this week to child porn charges, exploitation, and distributing and receiving child pornography. Russell Taylor faces between 15 and 35 years in prison. Fogle, meanwhile, pleaded guilty last month to distributing and receiving child pornography and traveling across state lines to engage in illegal commercial sex acts with minors. He'll be sentenced in November. And good news if you're traveling this weekend, gas prices are expected to be the lowest they've been over Labor Day weekend in a decade. The national average for regular unleaded gasoline is hovering around $2.47 per gallon, which is nearly $1 less than this time last year. About 35.5 million Americans are expected to travel 50 or more miles this weekend. And Joe, we were talking about our plans. We're not going anywhere.
I know the one weekend we can travel, gas prices are low, go figure, but there's a lot going on here.
A whole lot. Garlic Fest, 4th Street Festival, so we'll get out and enjoy it.
Thanks, Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. All Aboard will take you on a trip on the Hoosier State Line, which is offering new amenities to passengers. But are they enough to increase ridership on a train that's routinely late? And a number of IU athletes are in hot water and facing disciplinary action. Ahead, the long-term implications for the Hoosiers. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Nature takes you places where you've never gone before.
It's watching something that's actually happened.
Nature sure drew me in the story.
Just their power and their grace.
You know, it was just so beautiful to watch them.
The movement and just watching the body and watching the chase. Like this huge, lush, vibrant watercolor.
James.
There was such a shot of underneath watching these elephants swim in this deep water.
I had no idea even they could swim like that.
I saw that one monkey pulling on this one monkey's tail, and the monkey like, man, what you doing? What you doing?
It's like the theater of the wild or something.
7 billion trillion animals living on one planet.
It's like more colorful than you think life can possibly be.
somewhere between the mystique and the beauty of it is reason enough to sit down and watch.
That's life, and that's nature.
Welcome back to Indiana News Desk. The state's Attorney General said today schools would be able to receive their A through F letter grades as planned. The news comes after policymakers questioned whether a loophole in the state code would void this year's grades. It's a developing story our state impact team has been following. My colleague Rachel Morello joins us now. Rachel, maybe you can start by giving us a little background information.
Sure, that sounds good. Indiana law mandates the state assign schools accountability grades each year. That's been the case since 1999, but policymakers have tweaked how those grades are calculated a few times. The General Assembly asked the State Board of Education in 2013 to rewrite the A to F formula to account for individual student improvement on state tests. That rewrite is ready and it's set to take effect beginning next school year. But in the meantime, Indiana is still operating under the old set of A to F rules. The issue at hand is whether the State Board of Education correctly followed the letter of the law in transitioning from the old system. Did the timing of certain amendments they made void the existing A through F system? Lawmakers asked the state attorney general to look into the law, and he's now saying the grading system is valid. But he's also recommending the legislature consider passing a law next year that would reconfirm the State Board of Education had the authority to assign A through F grades this year. We'll continue to follow this story. Stay tuned for the latest updates in this ongoing piece on our website, stateimpactindiana.org. Joe?
Thank you very much, Rachel.
Thanks.
Indiana's Hoosier State Line is entering its second month under a new operating agreement that promises to provide better service and more amenities to riders. The State Department of Transportation reached a deal with Amtrak and Iowa Pacific last month to continue service on the line for at least the next 2 years. The state and communities along the route are shouldering the financial burden after Congress cut funding for the regional line in 2013. As Barbara Brozier reports, the hope is they'll have to pour less money into keeping the line running if the improved service attracts more riders.
Tired faces fill the lobby of Indianapolis's Amtrak station, where riders are waiting to catch the 6 a.m. Hoosier State Line heading toward Chicago. But today, they'll have to wait a little longer than expected. The train arrives more than an hour late because of an issue with a switch along a track owned by CSX Corporation. Delays aren't uncommon along this route. According to Amtrak, the Hoosier State Line ran on time just about 50% over the past 12 months.
The service runs over 5 different rail lines operated by 5 different companies, and there's a lot of dispatching and handing off that occurs to get the train from one location to another. We're trying to find a way to simplify that, and by simplifying that, that'll make it easier to deliver on-time performance.
Officials say they're hopeful. That will be one of many improvements under a new agreement that started last month.
We'll do the best we can to keep you moving here now that we're ready to go.
Under the agreement, Amtrak operates the line, while Iowa Pacific provides the equipment and maintenance. And new amenities for riders are part of the deal.
Folks, we do have a Superdome on this train today, and it's open seating for anybody that would like to ride up there. The Superdome was built in 1954 for the Santa Fe Super Chief running between Chicago and San Francisco and Los Angeles.
The Superdome is free for all passengers for now, but the plan is to eventually offer business class along the route, which would include food and beverage service. The train does have a dining car, which offers hot breakfast and dinner depending on the time of day.
Folks, proud to say, no microwave on this train. Everything is prepared right here on the train by our own chef.
Rita George and her husband rode the train last year and say they're pleasantly surprised by the recent improvements.
I was really dreading it because I knew how it was last year, so it just makes it nicer, a lot friendlier.
The hope is those improvements will attract more riders. Hoosier State Line ridership from October 2014 to June of this year was down 8% compared to the previous year. For now, INDOT and communities along the route are crossing their fingers while they pay to keep the line running.
At this point, we anticipate the state would pay about $255,000 per month And then the local communities, it's about $21,000 per month combined.
The city of Lafayette is one of the communities chipping in. It pays between $6,000 and $7,000 a month. That's no small chunk of change for cities that are struggling with dwindling budgets. But Lafayette sees it as a worthwhile investment.
We look at it as economic development, not just taking a leisure ride on the train. We look at it as how do you retain talent? How do you get people to move here? Is that a nice amenity? Say, hey, I can jump on a train, go to Indy or Chicago, don't have to get in my car.
But in order to get more people to take the train, it has to be reliable.
It doesn't have to be a huge high speed, but it has to get to Chicago in a reasonable amount of time and be reliable. And if it continues to do that, there'll be people that will really use it.
Even with delays, passengers we talk to do plan on riding again, because many of them say this is how train travel should be.
Number one, it's beautiful. The amenities and the service are incredible, much better than I expected.
This is the greatest. And to go from Chicago from Indianapolis to Chicago and back for $52, I think, that's dirt cheap.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brozier.
The Hoosier State Line is also offering Wi-Fi as part of its new amenities, but only in areas where there is cell phone reception. At the end of the 23-month agreement, the state will have the option to renew the agreement with Amtrak and Iowa Pacific for up to 4 additional years. The Hoosiers kick off their football season tomorrow. They've lost some star talent on both sides of the ball, but senior quarterback Nate Sudfeld says they're ready to take the field.
I'm stoked. I can't wait to actually get out there and put the pads on and be live.
But will recent bad behavior, primarily by some of IU's basketball players, overshadow the excitement on the field? IU basketball player Emmett Holt was dismissed this week after being cited for underage possession of alcohol. And this isn't the first time the sophomore has gotten into trouble, and he isn't the first player to be let go from the program. This spring, 2 other players, Devin Davis and Hunter Mascara-Perea, were also dismissed. Alex Bozich is the editor of Inside the Hall, a website dedicated to IU basketball news. He joins us now via Skype from Louisville, where he's based, to talk about the implications for the program. Alex, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So I just wondering, has something changed at IU, or what is going on that these types of situations are happening seemingly on a basis more than, of course, the program or fans want?
Well, it certainly seems that something has changed as far as the internal team leadership, maybe the maturity with some of the players. Looking back at the seasons where Indiana reached the Sweet 16, where they had Cody Zeller and Victor Oladipo, you never really heard of any off-the-court problems. They had good senior leadership, good upperclassmen in those years. The past 2 years, and Tom Crean admitted this last week, the leadership has not been where it needs to be, and I think you're seeing that kind of materialize with some of the off the court issues that seem to keep popping up, and every time one of them comes up, I think the administration and the coaching staff is hopeful it'll be the last one, and it just seems like things keep coming up, even minor things like the thing that happened recently with Holt and Thomas Bryant.
And Alex, we see, of course, a lot of fans are not happy with what they're seeing. Does this hurt the fan base, or are they quick to move on?
There's obviously some fans that are upset, and they have a right to be upset. I think ultimately how this situation ends up is going to be determined a lot by what kind of season Indiana has on the court. I think most fans are going to be forgiving if Indiana has a chance to win the Big Ten this year and make a nice run in the NCAA tournament. However, if things go in the other direction, I think there's going to be a lot more fans who are upset and unhappy with the direction of the program.
And Alex, we just have about 30 seconds, though. How about the future of the program looking at recruiting? Does this have a big impact?
I think it has some impact, but I go back to my answer on the last question. I think ultimately it's going to come down to how the team plays on the floor this year. If they have put together a big year, they're going to have a nice recruiting class coming in for next season. And if not, then I think it could be more of a rebuilding year next year.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
They say an elephant never forgets, and down near French Lick, visitors are having an experience they'll remember for a lifetime. 3 African elephants are taking a vacation at Wilstem Ranch, where they are getting daily spa treatments. Visitors are allowed to scrub down the gentle giants, who are orphans rescued from Kruger National Park in Africa. Elephants have a long history in French Lick. A circus was based there in the early 1900s, but the elephants won't be doing any tricks this time.
The elephants are not performing while they're here, other than their antics when they're out in the open pasture. Here what happens is they really get their daily baths. They get a lot of attention, as you can tell. They love the attention, they love their baths.
The elephants will be in French Lick until September 13th. And we're entering our 3rd season of Indiana Newsdesk, and while it's certainly a team effort to get this show on the air, there's one person who deserves a whole lot of credit. Gretchen Frazee was critical in the development of this show. She's the producer who plans it all out, executes it each week. There she is right there. We hate goodbyes, but unfortunately, we can't hold her back. Today is Gretchen's last show. She is moving to D.C. to work for a program you maybe know, the News Hour. We wish her all the best. Thanks, Gretchen. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following. Indiana University's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research, presenting Security Matters, with tips for improving online security in 3 minutes or less.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.